dinners get boring sometimes, especially when it's like, ooh, what form factor of chicken and rice can we make tonight? Or, ooh, what form factor of ground beef and noodles can we make tonight? Over and over and over again until you die, right? So tonight we've got some interesting tools. We'll be using the Toastite. This is actually an old product, I think from the 40s. And then we've got canned bread, which, if you've ever watched SpongeBob, Squidward felt that canned bread was the pinnacle of a perfect society. So maybe he was onto something. Either way, we're going to use both of these things, and we're going to try and cook something with it. So let's get started.
Intensive. I'll bet they won't have... Wow, they have it! Canned bread! This town is great!
If you happen to miss my last video, you might wonder, what is all of this? So I decided to set up a kitchen in my garage. I've got a cutting board, we've got a sink, we've got some heating elements, we've got some storage with all of our stuff in there that we're gonna need. And then of course, we brought the crew out here as well. They're still here overseeing the whole thing. We have a new buddy out here as well. Anyway, I decided I needed a new space to make it a little bit easier to get out here and record videos. So that's all this is. I will say, I had some comments on the video talking about putting this all together, and I got a couple comments on that was like, oh my god, you're going to use cooking elements on top of a desk in front of this beautiful piece of artwork? Like, what are you thinking? So, and you know what? You guys were right. You shamed me a little bit, but it was needed. You were right. So, you'll be glad to know, in addition to all that stuff back there, we also got a grill table with heat protectant mats right in front of the garage door. We'll crack that open when we cook so that it can vent out that way. And then this is also close to the direct outlet, so we can plug the Ninja directly in. It doesn't have to get plugged in through a weird extension cord situation. So this should be way safer than the setup that I originally had. And then the nice thing about this is that I can still fold it up, put it away if we decide to use this garage space for anything else. But anyway, I just wanted to start out and let you guys know, for those of you that shamed me a little bit, thank you. You've made the whole setup a little bit safer. We also have, of course, fire extinguisher, just in case. So, this might still be kind of a dumb setup, but it's about as safe as I could possibly make it. So anyway, tonight we are trying to make dinner not boring. And the first thing we've got for that is the Toastite. Makes a luscious, sealed in, drip-proof, hot toasted sandwich. Look at her. Oh, she's just enjoying her dinner so much. So use the Toastite over the picnic fire, heath fire, grill, or any open flame. We'll be able to do that on our little butane stove tonight. All right, so that is what this little torture device is. This is the Toastite. You open it up, you put some bread in there with some toppings, and then you close it and you grill it. That seems easy enough. The other thing we're going to be working with is some canned bread. I've never worked with canned bread before. My issue with bread, like fresh loaves of bread, is that we're really bad about using them in time before they go moldy. Like, we'll get a fresh loaf of bread and, blink and it'll have mold on it. So we're really bad about using it up in time. So this seemed like an interesting product to me to give a shot. Apparently it's 99% fat free and has no cholesterol as well. So that's good, I suppose. Anyway, so yeah, I figured, if dinner's boring, why not use a product I've never used before with a tool I've never used before and hope I don't set my garage on fire. So let's get started. I also brought a couple more things out here to use for my fresh sandwich. All right, so since I didn't really have a plan beyond canned bread and torture device, I just went and raided my cabinets inside to see what we can make, what kind of sandwich we can make. First of all, we have this absolutely delicious Chihuahua cheese. This smells so good. It makes phenomenal quesadillas. But I'm thinking grilled cheese, right? Grilled cheese. I also have some mayonnaise. So supposedly the trick to grilled cheese is that you put a little mayonnaise on the outside of the bread and it makes it extra crispy. So we'll give that a shot. I've also got some spicy pickles. Actually, this is like a reused, I reused use the brine a little bit for some fresh pickles in here, but they've been sitting for a few days, so those should be good to use. And then something else I had in my cabinet was some tomato basil soup. So there you go. Grilled cheese tonight with the Toastite and some canned bread. So let's put everything together. All right, first things first, we need to open up our canned bread and get some slices of this. Oh, ooh, it smells pretty good. All right, let's see if it comes out of here easy. No, it doesn't. There we go. Didn't want to come out, but we got it there. So these are some little bits that fell out. Let's give this a quick shot. Wow, this is really good. It's really really dense, kind of sweet, kind of caramelized. Let's cut some slices of this. Ooh, look at that. It's almost dessert-like. Let me take another bite of this. Oh, wow. It's really good. It's very sweet. It's almost like it's got cinnamon, sugar, spice to it or something like that. I don't know, but it's super, super good. Now let's get some slices for our grilled cheese. And I'm not sure how well these are going to hold up, but I think they need to get smushed a little bit so that they fit better. The Toastite's like a yay big, so I think they need to be a little bit bigger to fit in the Toastite. So I'm just going to kind of gently try to well, and that's not working very well. They're wanting to fall apart. So we might not be able to do that. We might just have to work with them as they are. So let's go ahead and grab our mayonnaise and let's grab our Toastite. Hopefully once everything's smashed together in here, it'll work pretty well. I don't know. Actually, I think this might work really well. It's almost like they were designed for each other. I also want to go ahead and get the stove going. So let's get that started. We've got our gas stove running here. So let's go ahead and finish putting together our sandwich. We're going to spread a little bit of mayo on each one of these. Not a ton, just a little bit. To kind of get it coated so that it doesn't completely stick to the Toastite. I've been told that the secret to a really good grilled cheese is a little bit of mayonnaise on the outside instead of butter. Go ahead and set that in there. That one also ready to go. Now let's get a little bit of cheese on this. Do a little bit of cheese on each side, kind of go into the edge as much as we can. I just realized closing this probably isn't gonna work very well. And then we've got our spicy pickles. So let's get a couple of those out. Yum, yum, yum. All right. I didn't think this through, so let me actually do this. A little bit of a mess there, but that's okay. It's okay. Let's squish our Toastite. Lock it. All right. Well, let's go fry her up. I'm laughing because this feels really ridiculous. All right, I guess we'll have to hold it over this. And I think it said 2 to 3 minutes per side. So, yeah, we'll see. Oh, look, the cheese is already kind of coming out. And I really don't want it to make a huge mess. Also don't really want to burn the shit out of myself. I do think, that this would be fun to do over a campfire with your kids or something. Definitely more interesting than just making a standard sandwich in your kitchen. All right, let's take a peek and see what we're looking like in here. Whoa! I wouldn't say it got super crispy, but it's definitely smoking. I think I'm going to call it here because I definitely don't want to burn it. I don't know that it's, it's hard to tell because the bread's already brown if this is browned or not. But yeah, I think we're going to call it here. All right, while everything's cooling down, the last thing I'm going to do is heat up my tomato basil soup and then let's try this. Definitely not boring dinner. Before we try our sandwich, let's talk a little bit about the Pantry of Shame. As a reminder, what this is I want to hear about the food that you eat. Tell me in the comments today, what's the weird types of sandwiches that you like to make? I mean, grilled cheese is normal, but have you ever wrapped it up in foil and thrown it into a campfire to cook it? Tell me about it down in the comments. If your way of cooking or the food that you talk about is sufficiently weird enough, it might end up in the Pantry of Shame. And after we collect enough things here, I'm going to try and make a meal out of it. In the last video, we talked about emotional support snacks, and several of you mentioned that peanut butter was an emotional support snack for you. A couple of you mentioned peanut butter and honey. So this is the Jif honey creamy peanut butter, and then a special mention to the person who likes to eat their Cheetos with chopsticks. So we've also got some chopsticks in here. So that's our first contributor to the pantry of shame. Leave some comments. Let me know. We'll fill this up with some more weird stuff, and eventually we'll turn it into a meal. All right, here is our dinner, but not boring. It's certainly not dinner, but beautiful. I'll say that much. We've got our sandwich here, still pretty toasty. Ouch, ouch. And then our tomato soup, which I just threw in the microwave. I'm not trying to spend a bunch of time on that, but it's time to taste test it. So let's try it out. First up, we've got our sandwich. I will say the cheese definitely melted in there, but the bread itself doesn't feel very crispy or toasted. Let's cut into it and get a cross section here. We got a little bit of a cheese pull. I'm losing everything. It is falling apart. Part of that is my fault because I tried to squish that top slice of bread and it is making it fall apart. So that's on me. But yeah, let's take a bite of it without the soup and then we'll come back to the soup. That's pretty good. I wish it wasn't falling apart, but the flavors are good. Are very messy. It's interesting because the bread is so sweet, but everything else is so savory, but it really is good together. Let's try it dipped in the soup now. And I might lose my bread here because it's really trying to fall apart on me. Yeah. Okay. It's really good. I do feel like that because the bread is sweet, this would be better with sweet toppings inside of the sandwich. So instead of doing, a grilled cheese with pickles and whatnot, that you should do that, like a peanut butter and jelly, or I don't know, just anything sweet. Maybe a Nutella in the middle would be really good. Something like that. Ooh, Nutella and maraschino cherries or something like that could be really good. But that said, that's really my only complaint is the sweetness. I wish this was a little bit more of a savory, like a sourdough bread. I think in this would be 100%. I like the sweetness of the bread. It just is weird on a grilled cheese. My only other complaint is that it's falling apart, but that's kind of on me because I was mushing that bread. I think if I wouldn't have done that maybe it wouldn't have fallen apart. But other than that, this was really good. I will absolutely make this again. I'll use the Toastite again. It was pretty easy to do. It cooked pretty fast. I'd maybe give it 30 more seconds next time, but I don't know that this sort of bread gets crispy. So because everything's on here's cooked through. So I don't know that it needed more time. But anyway, that was our dinner, but not boring. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments. What would you make? What sandwich would you make with the Toastite? Would you make a peanut butter and jelly? Would you make something weird with it? Let me know. It might end up in the pantry of shame. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.